He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Kia ora, hello, and welcome along to the Music 101 interview podcast. I'm Charlotte Ryan, and have you ever heard of a DJ called DJ Vika? She's a star in Poland, and she first started DJing, get this, when she turned 70 years old. She self-taught herself to DJ, and she's a hit with people all over Poland and Europe, with young people, but also DJs at weekly senior citizen clubs too. She plays all sorts of genres when she DJs: techno, disco, rock, samba, ballads. And the beautiful thing is, DJ Vika is on a mission to live out her senior years in a radically different way. She doesn't ever want to become dependent on her family. There's depth there. And also, she wants to celebrate her body ageing publicly in a fantastic way. There's a new documentary all about DJ Vika that's screening at the Doc Edge Film Fest, which launches in New Zealand this week. And I spoke to the director, Agnieszka Zwiefka, for Music 101. Congratulations on your documentary, DJ Vika. I loved it so much. And I think when I went into it, I thought, this is going to be fun. But there were so many other layers of emotion that I felt watching it that I think were quite unexpected for me. First, I guess, when did you hear of DJ Vika?
Well, actually, I knew about her existence for a long time because she is a celebrity in Poland. But the idea for the film came actually from my own worries, I would say even an obsession I have with aging, with passing of time. And, like every year for my birthday, I really disappear from the surface of this world. I really have an issue with that. So I approached Vika with an idea of making a film not only about her, but about aging. And, at first she told me to get lost, I would say even in much harsher words, as she did to many other people before, because she didn't want to be filmed in her vulnerable situations, when she is in pain, when she is lonely, when she has lots of other issues going on. But after a while, we convinced her, and now, like almost 5 years of filming, we're like a family.
Oh, 5 years? You filmed for 5 years to create this documentary?
Yeah, almost. I mean, it was 4.5. Of course, on and off. It was not like I was sitting there all the time. No. I was doing other stuff in between. But I think if you really want to get to know someone, it takes time. It's just like with friends. You can make easily a new friend in a pub next door, but to really get to know them, that's years.
Yeah, of course. In the documentary, we can see that DJ Vika, she's an incredible woman. She loves bringing joy to people. She loves DJing till dawn. But yes, as you mentioned, there's a real different story being told in the documentary because she's coming to terms with getting old. You said that you have been quite obsessed about getting old and age. How did you know that she also thought about that? Or did you know that she was worried about aging too?
I think it's a struggle we all have to face at some point. And I knew Vika well enough to know that she looks on the bright side of things. In my life, I've made many documentaries, and usually all of them are really sad. They are about traumas, dramas, I would call them feel-bad movies. So this was an idea to finally make a feel-good movie, which I think is rare among documentaries. We do have feel-good fiction films, but with documentary, that's another story. So that was how we started.
Could you tell from looking at her that she also worried about aging?
I think every woman does, and mostly women do, but also men. I mean, she doesn't look like she's worried. Vika, first of all, doesn't use any creams. She never went to a spa or any place like that. So she doesn't really pay much attention to the way she looks. But she has just this natural beauty inside her, which does not mean that she's not asking herself the most important questions, what it will be like when she is not able to live alone, what it will be like. This is her biggest worry, that one day she will be this pitiful version of her, not her real self, that she will lose some mental capabilities. And I think this is a worry we can all relate to. What if one day we stop being ourselves, So yeah, that was the basis, the ground for the documentary.
Yeah, that's so interesting. When you first met her and you convinced her that, this documentary, you were going to make it and it was going to be great, did she become more animated when the camera was on? Did she sort of play up to you in a sense?
No, Vika is very original. I mean, she easily gets irritated. So she's very difficult to direct. She is a diva, true diva personality. But she never played for the camera. Uh, it was really actually difficult to get into the most intimate moments. And that's why, this film took so many years to make, because the first years we could have the celebrity, the public Vika, but getting into her weak spots, that took time and trust, I think, from her side, from our side. Yeah, but she's undirectable, actually.
You speak about the sadness or sort of seeing her sadness, and I felt, yeah, there was lots of emotion, I think, that came into, or that we could see when she spoke about her grandson and her children as well, and perhaps the lack of contact that she had with her children.
Yeah.
Did you know about her relationship with her children before you started filming?
No, we discovered it though pretty early on, because normally when you follow someone, you want to have their family in the film as well. And over the whole course of filming, it's almost 5 years, it's pandemic in between. The grandchildren never ever visited her. So it's not that we don't have them in the film because they didn't want to or for some other reasons. They are just not present in her life at all. Or I should say they were not present, because after the film was released, a lot of things have changed. And I think the grandchildren watched it and they realized that their grandma is kind of cool and that maybe they should not turn themselves away from her. Because, for years, decades, she was abandoned by her biological family, basically. Also, due to the fact that she has quite an interesting character, she's always speaking very frankly about things, and some people do not appreciate that. But at the same time, Vika created a family of choice. Her adopted grandchildren, LGBTQ DJs, mostly very young boys and girls. So she had her people, but the family was missing from the picture.
She mentioned at one stage in the documentary that she thought her daughter was embarrassed by her. And I found that
Yeah,
so
her
sad.
granddaughter.
Oh, her granddaughter was embarrassed by
Yeah.
her. Oh,
Yeah. And it's a paradox, because Vika is a star of the clubs for 20 plus, people. And her biggest fans are actually very, very young, much younger than her grandchildren. So that's quite a paradox. But yeah, I mean, she's a colorful bird. She lives her life the way she wants it, and she's not going to apologize for that. And in Poland, which is quite a conservative country in many ways, I think we still tend to see our seniors as the people who should live only for their families now, who should give up on their dreams and focus on the family life and not be so much present and flashy in the public sphere. And Vika is very flashy.
I love her fashion and I love her energy so much. There's a real juxtaposition to her audience or her fan base, though, because you mentioned, yeah, she's huge in the LGBTQ scene,
Yeah.
but then also she plays these, would you call them elderly dance nights? Or these sort
Oh,
of,
yeah.
yeah.
That's her mission. She also plays for senior citizens. So she's a star in, I would say, two completely different groups,
Yeah.
among two completely different groups. Yeah, so her everyday work is mostly for the young people playing in popular clubs till 4 or 5 a.m. But she also has this mission to play for the seniors, to kind of force them to get out of their houses, because I think it's an issue all over the world that many senior citizens just stay at home because of lack of energy, but sometimes because their closed ones died and they have no one to hang out with. So that's why Vika organizes these senior dance events. And that's also one of the places where we had casting for the actresses in our film, because the film is partially completely staged as a musical documentary with choreographed scenes in which many senior citizens dance. So yeah, we had a real casting for these roles, and some amazing senior ladies participated in that. One of our dancers is actually 92 years old. Now 94, because she was 92 when we filmed her.
I just think that the cinematography and the colours of the documentary is just so beautiful. But yeah, those video montages of the dancing, they are brilliant. It looks like you had fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we did actually. It was kind of like a summer camp vibe, with the camp members being 80 plus.
So, making this documentary and spending, almost 5 years with Vika, has that changed your perspective on aging? You mentioned at the start of our chat that, that it was something that you worried about growing old.
I mean, yeah, of course, it has changed. I still have my worries. I still have my insecurities. I still have to address them. But what Vika gave me is actually a courage, I would say, courage to live live my life the way I want to live it, and not really care about the age. Because, Vika always repeats that age is just a digit, and you have your real age inside, and deep inside, she's still the same girl as she was when she was 18.
Yeah. What do you think, or did you ever find out what it was? Because she had this huge, long career. What was it that made her decide that music was going to be her future?
She retired from her work as a head of a juvenile prison, a very strict place. And she was the big boss, taking care of, very young convicts. So when she retired, she couldn't find place in her home. She was just, anxious and relentless. And her husband told her that she's impossible to be around. So she has to find something to do while being retired. And that's how it started, because she always loved music. And she is from a very special generation in Poland, the Second World War generation. She was born before the Second World War. And this generation that grew up immediately after the war ended, they didn't have much choice. They were kind of pushed in some directions. So if she had a conscious choice to make, she would have followed and do something in life with music. And of course, at the age of 60 plus 70, it's rather difficult to learn to play on an instrument. So she turned into DJing.
That is so wonderful. It's inspiring.
Yeah, it's actually, it's never too late to reinvent yourself. This is one lesson that Vika taught me, because now she's celebrating 25 years of her career, and it's a second career after she got retired, actually.
It's so incredible. I know about music rights, and when you're making a documentary, to use, to play a popular song in the documentary, it would cost so much money. But so I didn't quite get a sense of what music she DJs when she plays out. Does DJ Vika, would she play, ABBA or Queen or Elton John? Does she play popular songs that we'd know?
Yes, of course. She actually loves ABBA. It's amazing how you kind of thought about that. The music she plays is usually pop hits from the 80s, 90s. Yeah, the most popular stuff you could have, plus techno. She discovered techno music lately. So, she has a huge range of music themes that she covers, because she believes that she always has to play for a certain audience. And of course, she's not going to play some techno for her senior citizens, the senior dances. For them, it's much more the retro style, kind of like ABBA you mentioned and other hits. Um, but I would say her regular repertoire would include 80s music, pop.
That is so great. I love it that she's also discovered, dance music. Does she get tips off, I wonder? Or I wonder if DJs send her songs with the hope that she'll play them out.
Oh yeah, I mean they talk constantly about the music, the tunes, and the young people. The young DJs, they introduce her to the techno and electronic music scene. They just played some stuff for her, and she got inspired and included her in her own performance acts.
Now that she is getting older, is she slowing down? Is she not playing as many gigs?
Oh, she is saying that she is, but she's not doing it at all. She's playing in Berlin today, so it's she's unstoppable. But I think that's also what makes her go on at the age of 85, soon 86. She still has so much energy and appetite for life, and I think that's one of the reasons why she's still in a very good health as for a person her age.
You are so right. Do you think that you'll change directions with your career? You might start becoming a DJ yourself?
No, I think I would be a very bad DJ.
Why? Why?
I think the DJ is kind of like a performer on stage. It's not only about the music they play, but how they cheer, how they make people, enter a special world. But, I never know who I will be when I retire from documentaries. Maybe I will reinvent myself in a completely different way. Because I think that's what's inspiring about Vika, that you really can always start over and do something new.
Thank you so much for listening. I bet you have to go and look up DJ Vika images. She's so fabulous, and hopefully you can go watch that documentary, which is screening at the Doc Edge Fest in New Zealand over the next month. Now, I'm live on the radio each Saturday afternoon on RNZ National, but if you're a music fan, make sure you follow this podcast and share it with your friends too.